This is part 2 of our Substance 3D Painter beginning fundamentals. So in the previous one, we kind of went over using just plain fill layers and how we can use masks to change things and how we can get a lot of really interesting looks just by using those flat fill colors. So this video, we're going to push it a little bit more and we're going to start working with some of these nice materials on the left. These are your starter materials, so make sure you are under starter assets. Hopefully, when you're doing this tutorial, you do have the same starter assets as me. If you do not, try to find something that's just at least a little bit close. Like we're going to start off with using just a nice wood on here. So I'm going to just grab underneath assets this wood plane. I'm just going to drop it on. If you don't have the same wood, that's fine. Just find something that's kind of similar to this. So these assets are usually created in another program, Substance Designer. We're not going to get into Substance Designer. That's a whole nother, like you could spend a whole semester just learning that program. But the way a lot of these are these are procedurally created. There's two different ways we can make these. We can either procedurally create a substance material, or you can go out and use like photogrammetry to capture like a surface, and you can do a little bit of alterations to it in a substance material, but you don't usually get as much of control over these. So there's a lot that we can change, for instance, with this wood, which is what makes it such a powerful program and very alterable. So like we can alter this wood color, like maybe we want something closer to an ebony. Maybe we need something that looks a little bit more like unstained wood. We can change the saturation of that, so we're really altering those colors. We can change, how the veins look. We can even change how sharp those veins are, so we can change like the wood type. There's so much we can control. Again, I can't go over all of these. So the best way to learn this program is to try to just mess with it. Change things, see what happens, see if you can get things to look a different way. If you make a mistake, it's fine. You can just delete it. A lot of times these will also have presets. So like we can go to a, light wood, dark, warm. They don't always have a preset that you like though. So knowing how to alter things is going to be, an important skill with using this program. So one of the things with this is we have to be careful not to be too lazy with this. Yeah, it looks really good. Like hey, it's wood, we're done. No, we need to make sure that we are really altering this to fit the needs of what we want. Like that's kind of the power of this, is we're not stuck with just this wood. We have a lot of ability to make the changes that we need to suit our color and design direction. For instance, too, it's a very clean wood. It's spotless. It looks like it just came from the furniture shop. If this was like a table, this would be a nice, expensive, looks like maybe an oak table. So let's grunge it up. Let's use some of our other materials to make this look a little bit more interesting. So in the previous video, we did grunging up by just using fill layers and masks. And that is a way that we could go about this again. Like we could easily make like a fill layer and make it like a dark grungy color. But instead, let's kind of utilize some of the stuff we have over here. So for instance, we can grab something like, we have like this ground material, ground natural mud. We could grab this and drop it as another layer. We can make some alterations to this, like maybe a different type of mud. Let's see. I think I like this golden brown mud, but we don't want it to be too shiny because we don't want it to be like that. We're going to make it a little bit more on the matte side because we want it to seem more like dirt. So, so we're going to kind of bump up all of this. So, you know, how are we going to do this? The same way that we did last time. We are going to add a black mask. We're going to then add a fill layer, and then we are going to add a nice grunge map to this. So we can start to really alter, you know, alter this and what is displayed through these maps. You'll probably get very tired of me talking about using maps by the end of all of these lessons, like masking and then the grunge maps, but it's honestly kind of, you know, almost like the secret of how to get good at Substance Painter is utilizing these maps. So we are getting some stuff in here. I don't really like, do you see how it's kind of cutting into the wood? I'm not too satisfied with that. I kind of just want this to be a little bit dirty. So what do we do if we're kind of encountering like, I like that, but I don't really want it to like affect that height. This is where kind of coming in and finally adjusting your layers comes in handy. So by default, we're looking at just the base color. Like we see base color. It's very similar to Photoshop. But this is actually a drop down where we can come into here and we can look at it on the different map types. So height, roughness, metallic, normal. If we like how it looks on our, you know, roughest, metallic, normal base color, but we don't like how it looks on the height, we can go ahead and select that. And then we can change its blending mode down to 0. So that is no longer affecting the height of that. So, or maybe we want it to just affect it a little bit, like just a tiny, tiny little bit. So we can come in here and manually make adjustments to this. I don't, let's see if I can invert this because I don't really like it going in. There we go. That looks a little bit better. I kind of like it going out a little bit more, but let's balance it a little. And maybe it's not really supposed to be so strong also on the base color. Maybe what we really need it for is mostly to take out some of that roughness too. So let's go back to base color and we can go ahead and lessen that. And we can see that what it's mostly doing now is kind of affecting that roughness. It's doing a little bit of height and it's doing a little bit of, you know, roughness, but it looks more like some kind of weird, maybe like an adhesive or maybe something's coming off of it. So we can, you know, really alter that look through just, you know, adjusting these things. We can even change the blending mode. Like maybe we want it up all the way, but rather than having the base color do a regular, like it's on top, just like Photoshop, we can change it to like a multiply. And I actually kind of like how that looks. It looks a little burnt, doesn't it? Yeah, let's keep it like that. That's nice. It's a little too strong though, so we'll take it down. And we're, you know, this looks significantly different now than what we had previously. We can keep going with this. There's some other things that we can do to really push this. Like, let's just alter maybe, let's see. What would be fun? Oh, let's add a little bit of this cork natural on top of this too. I don't quite like the tiling on this. It's tiling not nearly enough. So I'm going to go underneath tiling. I'm going to change it to 2. Let's change it up to 3. It kind of looks like, you know, it's almost chewed away at the surface of it. So, you know, we don't want it like that. We do want to add another black mask. Let's add a fill to that. And we're going to do like a scratches. I think there's actually like a scratch. Let's see if we can find one. Scratchy. There we go. And let's adjust that balance. And remember, if you're having an issue, like you can't quite see what the mask is doing, don't forget we can switch it down to mask. So we can really kind kind of adjust this. It's not quite getting what I want. Let's see what this looks like. So, because I really kind of want it like scratchy. There we go. So we're getting it so it kind of looks like it's chewed away at the surface. Maybe the cork is the issue. We need to change some of the colors with this. Like if we go to yellow cork, it starts to look more like you might be seeing some of the wood underneath that isn't stained. I think actually this one is a little bit closer. Maybe not too rough. There you go. And now we're starting to get something that looks more like, you know, it's no longer clean from the furniture store. It's been sitting around in the living room for a few years. Some kids have had some fun jumping off of it and scratching it up with their forks and stuff like that. So yeah, the big secret to Substance Painter, masks and using your grunge layers on the masks. This will kind of get you started. Again, there's a lot more to this program we're not currently covering, but I think you should be able to get pretty far with this week. Feel free to look for other tutorials too. We didn't even touch on, you know, baking this week. We didn't touch on using some of the other interesting settings like generators. We didn't talk about filters, levels. There's just so much to this program that we can't nearly cover in a couple of lessons. But this should be good enough for this week to get you started on the project, and I hope you have a lot of fun with this program.